So this is one of the biggest reasons why so many people fail at reaching their fitness goals, their weight loss goals, and it's so avoidable. So I just got off a coaching call with one of my clients, and this client has been like battling some circumstances that are, that would probably push the average person over the edge and cause them to completely give up. Yet this client has not given up. She's pushing through and she's making progress, but not at the progress that she once was making, or not at the pace that she once was making progress. So over this past week, she is down. Her weight is still higher than what it was, but it's kind of where we said we wanted it to be over this past week. So she's lost a little bit under a pound from where we were last week. So I said to her, we were setting our goals for this week and we were talking about what we wanted to happen and what the expectations are. And I think I say this a lot, and I shouldn't say I say it a lot, but if you've been here, you've heard me say this before, that most people fail because their expectations are up here, but their efforts are down here. And I always tell my clients, regardless of why your efforts are down here, it does not matter. It doesn't matter if you're choosing to be lazy. It doesn't matter if you're just busy. It doesn't matter what the reason is. Expectations and effort and all this distance in between those two is disappointment. So my client is expected to have a very similar week to the week she had last week. So we talked about, she was very low on her protein throughout the course of the week. And we've talked plenty of times, me and this client, and I've even mentioned in videos why it's so important for us to make sure we're getting enough protein to reach our fitness goals, whether your goal is to lose weight, to lose fat, tone up, gain muscle. Regardless of what your goal is, having enough protein is super important. So we talked about, okay, we got to get in more protein. And I'm looking at my notes from our call right now. We've got to get in 80 to 90 grams of protein per day. She's got to hit her step goal. Right now, because of her circumstances, she's not able to do as much exercise as she would like to do. So we set a minimum of 2 strength training sessions for the week, but she's got to hit her step goal every single day. So this is about the same level of activity that we set as last week's goal. And again, over this past week, she lost just a little under a pound. So I said to her, what is your expectation over this next 7 days? And she set her expectation to lose 2 pounds. So I said, and let me just double check if it's exactly 2 pounds. So yes, a little over 2 pounds. So I said to her, remember, expectations and efforts. So her efforts would warrant that she would lose a little under 2 pounds based on what she did last week, because she's going to be doing about an identical amount of effort, probably going to be eating an identical way. Hopefully not, because hopefully she'll be getting in the protein that we talked about. But generally speaking, the weeks would be relatively identical. So I said to her, I don't think it's smart to set yourself up for failure by expecting to lose 2 pounds or a little over 2 pounds over the next 7 days, when the last 7 days you lost a little less than a pound and everything is pretty much going to be about the same. So what I told her would be a better thing to do, or a better way to approach this week's expectation, is to give yourself a range. So what we did was we set her range at the most 177 to 178. So the 178 is probably more realistic, because that's around a pound from where she is now, which would be identical to about what she lost from last week to this week. So I said that's a more smart goal. And plus, it gives us the ability to walk away from the week feeling successful. If we weigh in next week and you're 177.8, then we feel like we still succeeded because you're less than what you were last week. And as I like to tell my clients, any move in the right direction is is reason to celebrate. So that was kind of what we talked about. And I always say it is the biggest reason why we fail, because we set unrealistic expectations based on the amount of effort that we can do. And again, as I tell my clients, and as I just said, it doesn't matter why your efforts are what they are. Whether something is stopping you from, like my client right now, her circumstances are stopping her from putting in the effort, or you're just being lazy. It does not matter why, the outcome is still the outcome. And we need to live within that reality when we set our expectations based on our efforts. So let me know what you think down below in the comments. Was I right in telling my client to set more realistic expectations? Should I just have let her set her expectations the way she had set them originally and ran with it? What would you have done? Let me know down below in the comments. Have you ever had something like this happen before with your own goals? Share those stories down below in the comments. And if you need any help on your journey, click the first link down below in the description, fill out the form, and the two of us will figure out what we need to do together to get you from where you're at to where you want to be. And as always, the first coaching call is free.